Hey, this is Matt. Welcome to Let's Talk Music. I'm with Jon-Mikel. How you doing tonight?
What's up, Matt? Nice to meet you, buddy.
So, I was just looking up some of your stats, man. You guys, the three of you are quite the band. I mean,
Thank you.
your guitar player was a guitar superstar in 2006. Your singer took fifth place in The Voice, and you played for Ashes to New.
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's like it's a humble band, you know. We're just a bunch of three guys playing. We like odd numbers, so we're probably just going to keep it with three guys. Even numbers typically don't go well.
Right. And for those of you that don't know, Jon-Mikel is the drummer for Valerian's son. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about, your first band, Down and Dirty.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Um, that's crazy you brought that up. So initially it was From Ashes to New when I was pretty young, 2013 and 14. And then Down and Dirty, I took a break for a while and came back to 2016. So Down and Dirty was the long and the short, kind of like the baby band of Asking Alexandria.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and pretty much collectively it was the vocalist left and went to Asking Alexandria, Dennis Stoff, and then there were all new members other than um, one of the guys, Kirill Medleviv, who lives in Russia. So that was a fun band. We were on Sumerian Records and stuff. And, I come mostly from kind of that scene, like the metalcore, heavy rock and roll scene.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely a little different. It's funny though, Matt, like, I don't know if you're the same way, but the older I get, like the less I want to run in place on a drum set. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I still love metalcore, but like I guess it's like I just turned 30 and I'm like eating Tums now and I guess playing like slower music.
You're making me feel real old. I'm 46, just turned 46.
Oh, you look
So
good.
let's talk about the single All at Once. I
Yeah.
seen that, you guys came out with that in like the end of 2021. And,
Yep.
I'm sure COVID held up a lot of things. But,
Yep.
when I was listening to it and, no disrespect, it's got a
Yeah.
Muse sound to it.
It's so funny, man. Everybody's saying that. And I'm not gonna lie, we are heavily influenced by Muse for sure. So I totally get that. But that's a compliment. That's a huge compliment to us. I mean, anytime that you can be compared to a band or anybody that's that successful, and those guys write incredible music, and obviously a lot of people like their stuff. So if we can just like, adopt like 1/1000th of what they've been able to accomplish, then it's a good thing. That would be insane.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to like compare, what I mean? That's why I said no disrespect. It's more of,
We all do it,
it was just
you
the
know.
sound, you know what I mean? It's like when I
Yeah,
started listening to it and I was like, okay, this is, this sounds a lot like Muse's older stuff. But actually, what's
sure,
funny on my way home from a normal job, uh,
sure.
I heard a new song by them called Won't Stand Down.
No kidding.
Have
Okay.
you heard that yet?
I haven't, but now I'm gonna have to check that out. Did it just come out?
I think so. And it is nothing like the old Muse. It's more of a harder band. I actually had to like
No
triple
kidding.
take on my radio to make sure that the name was right.
Was it like XM radio? What was it? Where'd you hear it?
It was our local radio rock station.
Oh, cool. Yeah, those guys are crazy, man. Like, I'll be honest, like also like James was more heavily influenced by Muse than me or Trey. We both initially this project was a country project, believe it or not, which
Oh
a lot of
wow.
people don't know that yet. We didn't know whether we even wanted to communicate that because it might confuse people. But yeah, long story short, it was actually a country project and we had a different vocalist and we already booked the studio time. And it was me, Trey, who's the guitarist, and the other vocalist. And we had the studio time booked. He ended up backing out. We're still friends with me as a good guy, but just was moving really fast. And I was like, oh my gosh, like we have 1 month until we go into the studio and we don't even have a vocalist, and we're self-funded, we're independent. So, it's expensive for independents, as you know, as well. Like it's when you're funding your own stuff, it's a lot of, it can be stressful. So like the vocalist left, and I'm thinking out of everyone, any musician in a band, like the vocalist is always the toughest to replace.
Right.
So, actually I reached out, I created a short list. I reached out to James Walpert, who I've known for a couple years, actually, like through the 6 degrees of separation. Like my dad was friends with his family, which is bizarre. I didn't know that until later on, but reached out to James. He was on the top of the list, and surprisingly, he said yes right away. And
nice.
So further on, like we ended up, like our producers also, like I said, that we were doing a country project, and they thought it was goofy that I booked them because they are like metalcore engineers. So they do like Silverstein and August Burns Red and, my old band and stuff like that. So thankfully, probably that it wasn't a country project, but, we went into the studio, and that song you're talking about, All at Once, was the first 4 days we did 2 songs, and we wrote those songs from literally no ideas coming in, like, which was crazy. And we went in, and the producers were like, what do you guys even want to do? Like, what genre are you even gonna be playing? And this sounds crazy, and it probably sounds like some made up narrative that just sounds cool, but like we knew that we were really in a really tough spot where we had like a really short period of time until we had to write with these guys and these producers. So I just said, we got on a call, and I was like, let's just be intentional. Like, let's go in. How are we going to differentiate? Let's differentiate by, treating music like a language, and seeing how, use it as a challenge to see how fluent we are at it, which is crazy, Matt, because even the producer, could you say that again? Siri, crazy. But even the producer said the one night he was like, or the day we went in, he said he hardly got sleep. He hardly got sleep that night. So, long story short, thankfully, it could have went really bad, but, thankfully, like we all had natural chemistry together. And it's interesting because that All at Once song, Muse, we get Muse a lot, and I don't mind being compared to people too. I take it as a compliment, but like we've also heard Marilyn Manson, which isn't, I'll tell you, Muse I saw coming for sure. We all did. I didn't see the Marilyn Manson comparison, and we've been getting that a lot lately, which is kind of interesting. But I guess when you listen to it out of curiosity, because we're a little biased and we hear it probably differently than anybody else, what is it that you hear? Do you hear it being, other than Muse, like, do you think of it as more of a heavy type of music or more mainstream? What do you think?
I would say it's, if I had to classify it, I'd say like an alt rock. Like
Okay.
It's got the alternative sound to it, like Muse, like we were talking, and then it's also got kind of an upbeat tempo, to where it's almost like a, I can't even think of who I'm trying to think of right now that would be new and like that. I mean, it's a great sound, but I would say alt rock was what I got from it. I really didn't get a chance to listen to any of the other songs. Definitely going to check that out, but
For sure. Yeah.
I was, that's where I'd place it, alt rock. I mean,
because that's something we're all really, even our publicist Jamie, we're all really curious, even the producers, who I was actually in the studio today tracking drums, and I was talking to the one producer, and he said, I don't even know, you guys are kind of all over the place in a good way, but there's Octane, and there's like, Sirius Radio, right? Like it's like, would you be placed on Octane, or would you be placed on like their alternative station? That is something that we're really interested to see what happens as far as placement. Because Muse doesn't get played on Octane, do they?
I'm not sure. But I mean, honestly, I think that you probably have a chance of both. Like I said,
That would be crazy. Yeah.
I think where it is with the, where you were saying all over the place, that's kind of the alternate or alternative part that I got. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Because if you go back to the early '90s when all that alternative started, they were all over the place. Nirvana and bands like that. So, and then the rock part, I think, is like I said, the upbeat tempo, kind of the screechy guitars in it. So I would say that, if you had to place yourself somewhere, and I mean, it's just my opinion, alt rock would probably be the right place for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's alt rock is such a broad genre. So it'll be, I agree with what you're saying. I think it's going to be really interesting. And, we actually, I don't know if you know this or, have Jamie communicated this with you, but our theme, we're very focused on mental health awareness, genuinely. So like Valerian Sun, the Valerian root, people say, well, did you guys get your name from Game of Thrones? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a plant.
Like, yeah, everybody tells, yeah, it's a plant. It's a natural remedy to cure mental health, depression, anxiety, insomnia. And so I think mental health is, for me, the most important thing worldwide that needs to be advocated for in the right way.
Right.
And, like, I know we all said we all love playing music, but we also all love people. And we want people to we want our music to serve an actual purpose. And with all of like the negativity going on in the world right now, I'm not going to get political, but just in general, people's mental health this has probably been a prime time for depreciating mental health patterns. So it's a good opportunity to step in and have a positive voice and bring something like, a good light to the table. So if anything, I'd be lying if I said that we want to be like Nickelback says, we all want to be rock stars, I would be lying. We all want to be rock stars, but we also all want to help people.
Right.
And as cliche as that sounds, we're hoping that people listen to the music the way that we intended it to be heard, which is, kind of a positive spin on mental health issues,
Well, so, and I mean, I've talked to a few people that I actually did an interview with a guy the other night that suffers from mental health issues. And he, one is a very intelligent guy, and he's been doing very well with what's going on. And he finds his outlet in music. So, he started a band. He says, I've, always loved music, but it's like a calming drug to him. He says, I'd rather listen to music or play music or whatever than I would, take some prescription or whatever. So, I get where you're coming from with that. And it's a huge issue in the world. I mean, people are just, I think they're getting to the end of the ropes with stuff, that they're fed up. They're, depressed. It's just, it's tough. And I mean, music, I think, is one of the best ways to get anything out there. I mean, you can make a movie about it, but how many people, are going to go see that movie? Music is everywhere. And the more people that are doing it, the more there's going to be played on this station, that station, this station.
Yeah.
The more people are like, hey, I'm kind of catching the vibe here.
Yeah.
But I think that's awesome what you guys are doing.
Thank you. We want it to be, I feel like it could be, we just don't want it to be interpreted like a made up narrative just to service us. It's lastly about that. What I'll say is we're very serious about that. And we really just want positive. We want to be a positive chair at the table.
Yeah.
So I wear this every day. I've worn this for years. It says no negativity allowed. I think this says be positive, and then this says no negativity allowed. So that's something that actually it's like it's meditation, and I've
Right.
worn that for years. And it's like, just for instance, you go to the convenience store to get gas, and you go in there, and the guy in there, the woman in there, whoever it is, not making a ton of money, probably stressed out about finances, and not, who knows, but, smiling at them and actually being genuine, asking about how their day is going is something I've challenged myself to do for years. And I've learned that, like, one thing like that can change somebody's entire day,
Oh yeah,
even
yeah.
though
It can
it's
make a
so
big
small.
impact.
Like, just asking somebody like how their day is going and actually meaning it versus just swiping your card or tapping it and grabbing your stuff and just leaving. So, as goofy as that might sound, like, I just think a lot of those practices are really important, and we want to implement that guideline into our music.
I feel you on that, man. I mean, there's been days that I've been in I guess let's just say pissed off mood and gone to the gas station for something, and I'll
So,
walk in. I'm still very courteous to the people that are in there, and to the clerk, because it's none of their faults that I'm in a bad mood. So
yeah, I've been there before. Yeah, yeah.
and it is. I mean, there's times that there's a gas station right down the street from us, and the same lady always works these normal hours that I go in there. And I went in one day, and she was all upset, and I just talked to her for a minute, and she's like, well, I appreciate talking to me. So I get where you're coming from with that. It
Well,
is
you have
nice
more
to.
power. Not to interrupt you, but like, the all of us, we all actually, it's crazy and it sounds like BS, but like, we all are more powerful than we think we are.
Mhm.
Like, we all have the power to change somebody's day. And it's something funny that what you said reminds me of is, I was kind of pissed off the other day. It was like a week ago, and we sat down for dinner, my girlfriend and I, and that we went to like Chick-fil-A. This is a really redneck like meal. We went to Chick-fil-A and got like chicken nuggets, and we were like cutting them up and then put them into a salad. We thought it was like a brilliant idea,
Right.
And so we sit down, and she's like, I want ranch. And I'm like, okay, like, do we not have ranch? And she's like, no. I'm like, what are you saying? I'm not going to the store to get ranch. It's like 10 minutes away. I went to the store and got ranch, and we all know how that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went in there. Yeah.
I know
And
very well.
I went in there, man, and I'll take blame for it. I was not a pleasant person in there, and I wasn't an asshole, but like, I wasn't in a good mood, and I wasn't very talkative, and that's not very much like me. But those little things, like, they stick with me, and I'm like, man, that wasn't a representation of like who I'm trying to be.
Right.
But what I mean is, like, we all do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're human,
Well, yeah. Can't be happy all the time.
No.
So
And
you're
if
out of
you are,
PA, right?
then you got a drug test,
Right. So you're based out of PA,
I am. Yeah. Where are you from?
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I live in Amish country, Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have buggies that drive around, and like last night I was driving home at like 1:30 in the morning, which I don't often do, and there were like 10 buggies that I passed in like 5 minutes, and I'm wondering like what Amish people were doing up driving or joyriding at like 1:30 in the morning. It's kind
Right.
of but that's our life in PA, man. Well, you guys in Ohio have Amish as well, don't you?
Yeah, not around Columbus, but you
Okay.
go further out. There's Holmes County is big for it. Berlin, Ohio. Northern Ohio is big for it. The farther country you get, the more Amish you see. So,
Yeah. It
but
almost sounded like you had a southern accent at one point, but
I get that a lot.
do you?
Yeah. I think it's I can't really say. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Southern Ohio when I was a kid. My cousins live down there, so I go stay the summer with them or whatever. And
Yeah.
I don't hear it, but people say it all the time. So I guess that kind of stuck.
I like Southern accent. Like my mom is from, her side of the family is from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And then like her dad, my grandfather, is from England. So so that's crazy. But yeah, Ohio, I don't know if I've ever been to Ohio, but I know they're a big rock, like from what I understand, Ohio is big into rock and roll. Like
Oh, yes.
demographically, they have higher percentages of rock fans.
Yes. Yes.
I wonder why that is too, but maybe
we
it's the
have
cold weather.
QFM 96, which is our oldest rock station. It's more of a classic rock. Of course, now it's playing, stuff I grew up to, and I don't see that classic rock, but you know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
the one that I heard Muse on 99.7 The Blitz. But yeah, there's it's I mean, we have country concerts, we have, R&B concerts, whatnot, but a majority of the concerts that come through Columbus are rock festivals. I mean, we had what
There's a
was
big
it?
festival out there, isn't there?
Well, there
What?
was Rock on the Range, and then
Yeah.
the whole thing with Danny Wimmer and his partner, so they changed it to what they changed that to? Anyways, they changed something else. It happened one year, then COVID, and it hasn't happened since. We also have
That's a great festival, man. I've never been, but I've heard it's
it's
crazy.
awesome. I mean, and when it first started out, it was like, I don't know, I want to say about $75, $80 to go for the 3 days.
Not
And I mean,
terrible.
you've
Oh,
seen
for
like
3 days.
30 bands,
Yeah, that's
so
wild. That's, you break that down, man. That's like what, $25 a day. That's, and the
right.
bands that were playing there were massive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the lineup was nuts. I remember seeing it on Facebook and stuff,
Yep.
but yeah. So what kind of music do you listen to? You're from, did you grow up in the 80s or the 90s?
I was born in 76. So I grew up in the 80s. And then, to be honest with you, one of my favorite genres was the hair metal.
Me too. That's why I asked. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
love
grew
the
up
hair
on that.
metal genre. Like the stadium tour that's going on right now with Motley Crue, Def
Motley
Leppard,
Crue.
Poison. That's my
I'm
thing right
actually
there.
about, you'll get a kick out of this. So um, I'm going to be having dinner with Def Leppard's drummer here. I don't know when, but here soon. A friend of my mom actually like bought a painting from him,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, I don't need to meet him. Like, it might help you out. Maybe you want to meet him. So I think that's pretty cool, dude. I want to go on that. I want to go to that tour, but
Yeah,
I hope Vince Neil is back in shape, because I saw them a couple years ago, and they were awesome, man. I mean, it was probably what, 2015, and I've heard he's getting back in shape, and I hope
yeah,
so, because he's a great performer, and
yeah,
it's got to be tough on him too. Like, it's not fun to be, we're all going to get older at some point, and it's, your metabolism changes. We don't get to vote. But that tour is going to be crazy.
it
I'm
is. It's
sure.
going to be great.
It's so expensive though.
I mean, you got four icons coming together. I mean, you got to kind of bet on the pricey stuff. I mean, like, to be honest with you, I remember back in '94, I went down on campus and took $100 with me and got two second deck, second row right by the stage for Pink Floyd for $100.
Nice. That's cool,
And
man.
'94 was the last time they ever toured. That was the Division Bell tour, and they
No
quit after
kidding.
that.
Wow.
So, but
What
anyway,
hair
man, I'm
metal
gonna
band?
hit you up with a couple more little
Yeah, you
questions
got it.
here.
Absolutely.
So when you went from Ashes to New to this, is your drum kit still the same? I mean, you still got a pretty elaborate kit, or are you kind of more basic with it now?
Yeah. I mean, years and years and years ago, like in high school, I played an 11-piece kit. Like I told you, I loved hair metal. So I played an 11-piece kit with the 2 kick drums, not the double kick pedal, the actual 2 kick drums. And that was such a pain in the ass to carry around. I didn't have a roadie or anything. So then when I joined From Ashes, around that time, I consolidated my kit down to like a 6-piece. I think it was a 6-piece, like 2 rack toms, 2 floor toms, obviously a snare and kick pedals. And then I do 2 overhead crashes, a ride, and a hi-hat. I have a pretty condensed kit. And the thing is, like, I've always been really impressed by badass drummers that can like make a 6-piece kit sound like a 11-piece kit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I think that's like the best overall kit you can get is a 6-piece, but who knows if if we ever were blessed enough to have like techs and stuff or play a big show with a large budget, maybe I'll be like Terry Bozzio, you know what I mean?
Right.
With like the 30-piece kit or whatever. But no, I nowadays I play a pretty small kit and it's just easy to move around. And if we go on tour, what I've learned also is it doesn't take up much space in a trailer. You don't want to piss off everybody by like being that guy, the drummer with like a huge drum set, and everybody else gets like this little tiny like storage space. But yeah, no, I play a smaller kit for sure. Yeah.
Well, now that you mentioned that, a 6-piece sound like 11-piece. I don't know if you've actually ever seen any of the old footage or whatever. You should check it out on YouTube. It would be what is that song? It's Black Sabbath. Oh my God.
Who was their drummer?
War Pigs.
The brothers, right?
War Pigs is the song. Their drummer was let me think of their names. There's Geezer Butler. Oh my gosh. See,
I forget he was Ozzy's drummer too, I think.
He just put me on the spot.
A pro drummer.
Bill. Oh my God, what was his name? Bill
Ward.
Yes, thank you. Bill Ward.
I know that name. Yeah.
And I love her picture because that's how I felt right there.
Nice.
But Bill Ward, yes.
Yeah, right. Jamie's picture.
But if you check out the video, man, I mean, he is on just a small little kit, and War Pigs, the video in the song, it sounds like he's got a massive set.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is like, what you're saying. It's the talent of the drummer that can do what he can with the kit that he has, versus having a big elaborate. And I appreciate that.
It's so cool. Like the bigger kits, the only reason I like them is they just look so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like remember back in the day, Bobby Rock?
Yeah.
Remember Bobby Rock?
Yeah.
Like my dad was like big into that stuff. So the first drummer I started watching was like Bobby Rock, watching his VHSs. Started playing when I was 4. And Bobby Rock and Tommy Aldridge from Whitesnake, playing with his hands and stuff. So yeah, and Trey also, I will say, so Trey won that competition, but he ended up connecting and being friends with Steve Vai, and Steve Vai's rhythm guitarist Dave Weiner and Greg Howe. I don't know if you know Greg Howe. He's a badass guitarist.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, if you like hair metal, Greg Howe is a monster, and he's like an 80s shredder. But no, Trey, honestly, man, that guy, I'll talk shit for those guys, and they won't do it for themselves. He's like an 80s hair metal shredder. He's got the long hair too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is pretty cool. But yeah, man. Yeah. I like the 80s stuff, and this new stuff that we're about to release. We have a pretty extensive release schedule coming up. There's a song coming out tomorrow called The Burnout. Mm-hmm. And we've heard a lot of people that have previewed it have mentioned the name. Kind of sounds like Van Halen influence.
Nice.
So we're starting to, it's different from the first song. Like these songs are still in the same theme, but what we wanted to do is differentiate a little bit, so we're not pigeonholing ourselves to where we have to like stick to this exact sound.
Right.
But with the new stuff, you'll hear like there's a lot of crazy 80s rock shred guitar. And the video that you'll see tomorrow coming out, there's a guitar solo, and on the video it's like an 80s hair metal scene. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss those days.
You
man.
have to let me know what you think, man. I'm curious because you listen to that stuff too.
Oh yeah. It's like I said, that's what I grew up on. I mean, I think the first rock song I ever heard, because when I was little, I was kind of Michael Jackson, Duran, whatever. And my cousin of all people, living in Southern Ohio, says, "Hey man, my brother's got this tape of Kiss." I was like, "Okay, cool," And the first song I ever heard was "Heaven's on Fire," and I was like, "Oh my god!" I just, I loved just the whole sound of it, and I was like, "Yep, goodbye, Duran."
That's a big shift, man, from Duran to Kiss,
So yeah, and I mean, then it hit huge. I mean, you had just. I mean, Doc and Poison. I mean, so many. And I feel like that era was probably one of the best eras of music I've lived in.
Hands down.
I mean, the talent and the raw, like you said, shredding and
dime a dozen too back then too. They were everywhere. I mean, I wasn't alive then, but I was educated by my dad that CeCe DeVille, Richie Kotzen, Yngwie Malmsteen, all those guys, just freaks.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I don't know if you're familiar, like Jason Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite players. Jason Richardson. I just saw the other week Intervals, who's probably one of my favorite bands. They're really crazy. And Animals as Leaders. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but you're right, man. The 80s was, I would say, as far as like musical talent as instrumentalists, I think it was like the prime of, just everybody was a freak.
Yes, sir.
So we want to bring that back, man.
I'll tell you what, you can look me up on Facebook.
I will.
My page is Let's Talk Music. It's pretty simple to find. It's the only one that I know of. I post, my interviews on there. I post, different things. Like, I mean, I just posted when Naomi Judd passed away. I posted rest in peace. I mean, she's a country icon. So, I mean, anything to do with music is what that page is. So, yeah, I definitely keep in touch with you, and I would love to, if you guys ever come out this way, get a live interview. Like I said, I mean, there's all kinds of great places to play out here. One of the biggest ones recently has been the King of Clubs. It's a new one. And
I'll write that down. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been, I've heard the guy is great to work with that owns it. He's an extremely huge music lover of all kind.
King of Clubs, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just put it down.
Cool. Yeah, King of Clubs in Columbus. So
that's coming up, man. We're really working towards the next big bear that we're tackling. Is we want to do a tour, and we have actually something that we're working on right now that I can't talk about, but it's actually it's going to be really cool. So awesome. Hopefully we do come out to Ohio, because like I said, I know that you guys love rock and roll out there.
Yes, we do.
We want to bring back that shred stuff. You know what I mean? But also keep it, you got to be able to bob your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
I just want to say our social media platforms are all the same. It's all, the tags are all at the Valerian Sun. So it's at TheValerianSun. And that's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And we're pretty active on all these platforms, more so than we were a couple weeks ago. So yeah, thank you so much for having me too, man. It was seriously, like, anybody else that likes 80s hair metal, like there aren't a lot out there anymore that I talk to, believe it or not,
Hey man, so I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
Dude, likewise. We'll have to stay in touch. And then tomorrow, check out the music video, The Burnout, coming out, and then shoot me a Facebook message or an email or whatever, and give me like a little bit of, what you think about that. Cause it's definitely different.
Okay. I can do that.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. Well, you have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Nice
All
meeting you, buddy.
right.
All right, guys. Have a good night. And Jon-Mikel, send me the link.
Yeah, it's uploading. It says like 30 minutes left.
Oh, all right. Okay, cool. Cool. All right. So, and I sent you the press release that's going out tomorrow. So,
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jamie.
no problem, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Hey, see you guys. Have a nice evening.
Burning